this moment, we are not talking about any other thing than the maths. I've decided that if you want to invest in Wambugu apples, you need to know some of the things that maybe you never thought. You don't just think of investing through Wambugu apples, but there's some things that you need to know. We're not only doing agriculture, but we're also doing business in agriculture. One thing a typical farmer should know is when I plant like spinach today, I need to know how much did I buy the seeds, how much did I use, how much water did I use. So when you plant Wambugu apples, there are some calculations, some maths that today I want us to do. When you plant a plant like this one of Wambugu apples, what comes in your mind? For me, it's math. I start counting 1, 2, 3. And this is what I want us to do today. When you plant 1 tree or 2 trees, 4, 1,000, 5,000, you need to do maths. How many fruits do you get from 1 tree? How many times in a year? How much input are you giving to this tree? So all these maths, you need to do them, and then you minus, subtract, multiply, plus, call them divide. So after doing all that, then you're in business. We sell one Wambugu apple seedling at $10 or Kenya shilling 1,000. I hope euro is still 8 euros. When you plant it today, you spend 1,000 Kenya shilling or $10 buying the seedling, which is grafted, which will take 9 months to start fruiting. And that 9 months, there are some activities you do in between. And this is where the calculations comes in. How much manure are you giving this tree? Because you need to be doing manure like 2 times in a year. So it depends with how much you're buying your manure. Maybe you are buying in tons. Maybe you have the cows. You have all the manure, because those people who have cows, you cannot. You cannot be like the person who buy manure. So there are those farmers that have already have the dairy. They are doing dairy cows, dairy goats, or even other animals, and this is where we get our manure. So if I'm buying a whole lorry, like how much? $200. Maybe you're not buying. So calculations differ depending on where you are, on what you are doing also. Those are the mathematics I want us to do. If you plant it today, within 9 months should be giving you fruits, and not very much. I will tell you that, because still we are nursing this tree to be big enough to give you more and much that you may be looking at. In the first year, you get like 30 to 40 fruits. That's the first year, because after 9 months flowering, those flowers, for them to turn into fruits, takes 3 months. So after the 3 months, definitely that is 1 year. So at the end of the year, you get like 40 fruits or 30. There are those who even get 20. Depending on the care that you took to the plant. So after that, the second, the third year, you should be getting 100 fruits from 1 tree. Let's talk on the maximum, or the full maturity of Wambugu apples, which is the 4th and the 5th year, depending on, again, the care that you're giving this tree. So let's talk of the 5th year, like these trees here. They are now 5 years. Other are heading to 6, but most of them are average of 5 years. 5 years, 1 tree should be giving you around 300 fruits per harvest. You can have 2 harvests in a year, or 3. Again, depending on how you're treating or how you're feeding this tree. So now, this tree will be there over 80 or 100 years of lifetime. Depending, again, how many years do you have. And again, even if you're putting it there, you can leave it to your kids. So it can be there over 80 years and giving care and yielding very well. In a year, those who like us in Laikipia, we do 2 or 3 harvests. So let's do it the maximum 2 harvests. So if a tree is giving you at 5 years 300, or let's say 300 to 500 fruits, even if you, let's say the whole year, you combine those one with 200, 300, let's say that 500 fruits per year, depending on how many times. The maximum is two times in a year, like this. Well fruited, because here we have done already the harvest. As you're seeing now, is a few that we are getting, because it's also finishing to harvest. So let's assume that 2 times in a year we get 250 on the lower side of harvest. Let's assume that we are doing 500 fruits. So 500 fruits, again, it will depend with your country or your region how much you're selling. But in Kenya, mostly 1 fruit goes for 25 or 30 Kenya shilling, or 1 kilo at 300. 300 is about $3, 1 kg. So if 1 fruit is 30 Kenya shilling. Now allow me do the Kenyan maths. Kindly do your country math, whether you're in Caribbean, whether you're in Uganda, whether you're in Zambia, Zimbabwe, whether you're in whether you're in Philippines, do your local market, and then you get maths. Allow me to do Kenyan market. So if 1 fruit is around 30 bob, let's do it at 20 shilling, 20 Kenya shilling. You multiply by, that one you multiply by 500. So assuming that a whole year, in total, fruits, we get 500. I had to get my calculator. 500 fruits. And then, remember I said I want to calculate with Kenya shilling, which is around 20 shilling, which is on the lower side. So 20 Kenya shilling, that is 10,000. Now, what is that? Yeah, 10,000. 10,000 Kenya shilling on 1 tree. Are we clear? I want us to be very, very clear, because today we said it's about mathematics. So 1 tree is giving me 10,000 Kenya shilling, which is about $100 plus or minus, which is around $100. And we agreed that you do your country, whether pula or dollar, or which currency is Kenya shilling, or whether it's Uganda shilling, Tanzania shilling, call them. So you can do it, or kwacha, so whichever you do. So for me, I'm getting Kenya shilling 10,000 for 1 tree in 1 year. Remember, not 1 harvest, 1 year. So assuming I have a Neka has 1,000 trees, so I'm supposed to multiply the 10,000 Kenya shilling by 1,000 seedlings. 1,000. So that's around 10 million Kenya shillings. 10 Kenya shilling is what I'll be getting out of 1,000 trees in my farm, given that I'm harvesting on a lower side 500 pieces, and I'm selling at 20 Kenya shillings. Yani 20 bob. Let me call it, those in Kenya will understand. That is 20 bob. I'll be getting 10 million Kenya shilling. Now, this is crazy. This one will happen the next 80 years. I don't want to go beyond that, because I don't want to look like I'm scamming you with the maths. But I want us to be very sincere and very logic. Do your mathematics. That is, and depending on how many trees you're doing, there are people who do 3,000, they do 5,000. So me, I assumed that 1 farmer is doing 1,000 trees. So that would be giving you 10 million, 10 M per year. Let me maybe divide by 120. The dollar is now around 128. So that would be 78,125 US dollar per year. So after doing all these calculations, just know how many workers you have and all these, the water. And remember that when you're doing irrigation, you do it once. So these are the mathematics that you do, and then you'll be able to know what is your gloss. So that is the mathematics that you're doing. And also I'll remind you, when you do all this, ensure that you're giving tithe. Because let me tell you, farmers, if you don't give the 10% to God, I'm not a pastor, but these are facts. And this one is related to farming. So please, you have to do the 10%. So if it is me who is getting 10 million, 1 million, I should take it to where I fellowship, where I'm grown spiritually. So please, that one is important, and you see harvest. Because most of us, we eat everything, even God's money, and then you think you have such harvest. It's not true. And that one, because I'm a believer, so I have to give you that. So those are the calculations that you're supposed to do, and then from there you're good to go. Even before you start, just do lafre, look at the market in your country or your area. Just know, if I sell this one fruit 20 Kenya shilling, or name it in your country, then, and one tree like this one gives me like 500 in a year, how much am I making? And remember, you're not replanting. Once you plant, over 80 years harvesting. And also remember, it will also depend on how you're feeding. Remember, doing manure like 2 times in a year, and water should be regular. For those people who are in the areas that are very wet, then good for you. So Ambassador decided today to be the teacher of mathematics, but that is it, and I wanted us to do that. So I'm doing some harvest, and the same times I'm crunching as usual. Look at how beautiful. Wambugu apple is crunchy, sweet, juicy, organic. Wambugu apples to the world.